Right now might be the best time to be a fan of WWE and AEW, especially as free agency really starts to heat up. We're going to talk about some major returns and possible new signings for WWE. As always, timestamps in the description down below. We're going to kick things off with Impact Wrestling stars Maria Kanellis, Mike Bennett, and Matt Taven. Guys, if you didn't know what is happening here, there is this new report that's come out that's essentially revealed that they are now free agents or their contracts are about to expire with Impact Wrestling. Now, this would make sense when you look at the results of Bound for Glory and, of course, the tapings that Impact just recently had. Also, it's being said that Vincent is also becoming a free agent as well. So now Impact Wrestling has potentially 4 stars that are leaving the company. And a lot of people are wondering if WWE or AEW could be making a very big offer to this group. Now, what I find very interesting here is that Impact Wrestling's Honor No More has actually been a really, I feel like they've done a pretty damn good job of this storyline, especially when you look at Kenny King, you look at PCO, and you look at Eddie Edwards, and what everybody here has basically had to do to accomplish a prominent storyline, even though Ring of Honor didn't necessarily exist at the time the storyline started. Now, nonetheless, the reason why I'm talking about this is because there are rumors that WWE could very well be interested in bringing at least 2 or 3 of these names into the company. Now, this would make sense if you're Triple H. Obviously, Mike Bennett was a Triple H signing back when NXT was a thing. We saw Vince McMahon completely change up Mike Bennett, made him Mike Kanellis with Maria Kanellis, and the storyline stuff there was just not good. Honestly, it just wasn't good. But of course, with Triple H having that history there is this possibility of possibly, happening or whatever. And also, I think you got to look at it from this perspective of WWE right now, currently as it stands. They seem to be bringing a lot of factions together on WWE programming, which, if you are WWE, you could bring in Vincent, you could bring in Matt Taven, you could bring in Maria Kanellis, you could bring in Mike Bennett. You have a mid-card guy right there that can go for a mid-card championship, and obviously with Vincent, you obviously have the OGK who can go for the tag team championship belts at some point. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens here. I think a lot of people just kind of assume that they would go to AEW, which is always a possibility. But with AEW, my concern is that, with their tag team division right now, it's not the biggest spotlight because the Acclaimed right now hold those championships. And I don't want people to get this twisted. The Acclaimed are great, but there's not a lot of up-and-coming teams at this point when it comes to the tag team division. It's not getting that spotlight. There's been a lot of focus on the Acclaimed and Swerve in Our Glory, and that seems to be the big thing as AEW was putting a little bit more effort into the Trios Championship. So with WWE, obviously we know somebody's going to have to take the belts off the Usos. Are those titles going to get deunified? What will WWE do there? I'm just saying this could be a really good option. Another return that is really exciting to me, guys, is Bo Dallas. Now, we have talked in the past about Bo Dallas coming back to WWE. Now, Brian Alvarez has confirmed that Bo Dallas is expected to be in WWE very soon. We all know that Bo Dallas was part of those big roster cuts in 2021. Obviously, it was really unfortunate. I think a lot of people remember Bo Dallas from the B team. Believe it or not, I really remember some great stuff from Bo Dallas when he was in NXT. And I don't know if that was like 2013, 2012, 2014, somewhere around that timeline. I'm not really good with the dates, but I remember when he was in NXT, he was an NXT champion. This guy was awesome. And of course, when he went to the main roster, Vince McMahon didn't really have plans for him. The idea that Bo Dallas is coming back to WWE is great. Obviously, we just saw Bray Wyatt return, and that was a monstrous return. And I do genuinely believe that Bo Dallas will be part of Bray Wyatt's group. Whatever the Bray Wyatt 6 is, whatever they're doing here with Bray Wyatt, I have no idea. We can all speculate if we want. We know WWE is seriously committed to making sure his return is great. I believe that Bray Wyatt is better when he has a group of people with him. At the end of the day, his origin in WWE was a cult leader. And I think if you bring in that real life relationship with Bo Dallas, I think that just really puts the icing on the cake. Also, Liv Morgan and Bo Dallas are actually in a real-life relationship. We saw Liv Morgan kind of tease a character change at the end of her Extreme Rules match. So, I don't know. I'm just saying it's a possibility that maybe they're all being paired up together. Could be something that works very well. But I also think, because a lot of the memories of Bo Dallas in WWE kind of existed, being in the B team, kind of being, like in this, like I don't want to say jobber, but unfortunately, Vince McMahon treated him like a jobber, right? You bring in Bo Dallas with this new presentation with Bray Wyatt. I just don't see how this doesn't work. And what's really cool here is, like I said, WWE's in a situation where they're bringing in factions. They got a lot of groups going on. I think there is something cool that can happen with Bo Dallas back in WWE, and I am really excited for it. And speaking of groups, this is super interesting to me, but we got to talk about it. The Viking Raiders are going to be paired with Sarah Logan. And I really love this news because, honestly, Sarah Logan could be the element that the Viking Raiders need, right? We've seen them kind of get repackaged and, they come back. Now we know one of them is injured. I think it's Eric that is injured. But basically, we know that they're being repackaged. We've seen her in these vignettes at this point. So WWE, it looks like they're really going forward with it. And according to PW Insider, it looks like that vignette that they recently aired was actually meant for Sarah Logan. So, look, here's the thing. I think WWE has a lot of great talent. And I think a lot of people are going to look at this and be like, oh, well, they don't need Sarah Logan. Like, the women's division doesn't need Sarah Logan. And I'm not looking at this from a perspective of in-ring, right? I'm looking at this from the perspective of presentation. And I think the Viking Raiders need somebody to give them an extra element of pizzazz that is going to make them even look more serious. Because with Triple H, we've already seen them in a short period of time. They look way more dominant, way more like, it seems like things are more planned out, more thoughtful. You bring in Sarah Logan, it helps complete the overall image. Now, I also want to point out, because she's an experienced wrestler, if you ever want to do 6-man tag matches or whatever, mixed 6-man tags or whatever it may be, she knows how to wrestle. She can take bumps. She can take a pinfall. So there are ways that you can use her in a wrestling capacity without necessarily having to say Sarah Logan should go take out Ronda Rousey. And that's why I like this. And I like the fact that WWE is being a lot more thoughtful about these things because they're realizing that presentation matters. And this is why the Bloodline is super successful. This is why WWE has garnished so much attention in recent weeks, because they are really focused on the presentation of things. And then they're giving their wrestlers the ability and the time to wrestle. And I think, not everybody needs to be a world champion, but if you want to make somebody feel prominent on TV, you got to make some small, subtle changes, and that's how you eventually get there, and it gives them a chance to get over. I'm excited about this. I like the idea of WWE focusing on groups. I like the idea of them focusing on tag teams. I like the idea of WWE really just kind of making these small little changes that really help the product. We're seeing it across the board on Raw, NXT, and Smackdown. And I'm super excited about it. Let me know what you guys think about all these possible returns and new signings. I want to hear from you in the comment section down below.